Kim Jong-un, chairman, tyrant, international sex symbol. I know he's a brutal dictator, and I know his people suffer terribly, but so many things about him are just funny. They just are. As far as Western observers can tell, Kim Jong-un is scared of the barbers. He literally has a phobia of barbers and reportedly cuts his own hair. He has a strange relationship with his hair. North Korean citizens have a choice of just 15 haircuts which have been approved by Kim Jong-un, which is unfortunate as he really does have terrible judgment when it comes to fashion, as most men do, but there's a line and he crossed it. No one wants to see those Hillary Clinton boiler suits on a 30-something dictator, and there's a reason I said 30-something instead of giving his specific age. We'll get to that next. No matter how old he is, his approved haircuts aren't great. They look like Russian hats. It's thought he's about 32 years old, but we don't know for sure how old he is as North Korea tends to hold secrecy around the birth of their leaders. What makes it worse is he's one of those people who look both old and young at the same time. So he could be 30, but he could be 13. He looks like an enormous baby. North Korean officials maintain that his grandfather was a mountain, sort of. They claim his father was born from a sacred mountain, but it's unclear what that even means. His real grandfather is Kim Il-sung, who died in 1994 yet still holds the title of eternal president of North Korea, although also not dead because the eternal leader can't die. But realistically, he is very dead. Very, very dead. In Hong Kong, there's a Kim Jong-un impersonator and he's a complete legend. Like the real Kim, he refuses to give his age. On realizing he looks like a dictator, he took the opportunity to make some money, becoming reasonably well known in Hong Kong. But he really stepped things up in 2016 when he went to the Olympics just to confuse North Korean officials. As he approached North Korean athletes, they looked puzzled as their dictator seemed to be approaching. When they shook his hand and heard his obviously not Korean accent or language, they realized he was just a man dedicated to the art of trolling. He's in his 4th professional year of Kim Jong-uning, and I think he's an inspiration to all of us. He's addicted to cheese. Ever since being secretly educated in Switzerland, he's been obsessed with cheese. It's got to the point where he apparently feels reliant on consuming vast amounts of European cheese and wine. Apparently, he sometimes eats cheese and drinks 10 bottles of wine while in the company of North Korean women. And I can't really get mad at that, partly because it's funny. A giant baby hooked on cheese and wine. He sounds more like the leader of France than North Korea. Western observers think he has the gout, which is traditionally known as the disease of kings. That gives us an insight into his personal lifestyle, the fact that he shares diseases with medieval monarchs. Also, it's usually only elderly people affected by gout, so maybe he really is older than we think. Fact number 6, he's very photogenic. Look at him here atop a mountain. Majestic. We see him conquering a mountain here. Majestic. This image shows his sensitive side as he prepares to sacrifice a young goat. And here in San Francisco, I mean that one's fake but still nice. In this one he seems to be playing a child role in a musical production. I think this one is especially sweet. You've got Kim and some apples just enjoying a lovely day. I'm just giving the facts. The interview. There are some things you can't leave out of a video like this. Here's one of them. Seth Rogen's film about a plot to assassinate Kim Jong-un was expected to cause some backlash, but they weren't expecting what really happened. Kim Jong threatened war if the film was released, but before its release someone hacked into Sony and stole valuable information. North Korea was blamed, but Kim Jong said they had nothing to do with it, and said he might nuke the West if North Korea wasn't proven innocent. So that was a disaster on all fronts, but the movie was released online and became Sony's most successful digital release. I think it's fair to say Kim overreacted, but that's kind of his thing. He's the sexiest man alive according to some Chinese journalists. The Onion named Kim Jong-un the sexiest man alive for 2012. Like everything else they do, it was blatant satire. But some Chinese news sources were clearly unfamiliar with The Onion, and so they reported it as serious news. Countless Chinese people awoke to the news that North Korea's supreme leader was now considered the sexiest man alive. The story was run by state-controlled outlets, so The Onion effectively fooled the Chinese government into promoting something ridiculous. Strangely, it's one of the few news stories about Kim Jong not to be followed by a threat of nuclear launch. I wonder why. He isn't even the most ridiculous member of his family. Kim Jong-un wasn't always heir to North Korean power. Until 2001, his older brother Kim Jong-nam was. But Jong-nam was a ridiculous imbecile. He was considered a flamboyant idiot, and when he attempted to visit Disneyland with a fake passport, he was detected by Japanese officials. This was embarrassing to his family, and he soon fell out of favor. He was considered North Korea's only ever playboy, and sometime around 2003 he was exiled from the country. He then moved to Macau, which is like a Chinese Las Vegas but way crazier. It suited him well with his love of drink, women, and gambling. Just months ago he was in Malaysia for some reason when he was killed in a suspected chemical weapons attack. There were times when he spoke to the media, becoming the first Kim family member to do so. On occasion he also criticized North Korea's regime. He could be the world's most useless military commander. Kim Jong-un has no real training or battlefield experience, yet he's a 4-star general. The closest thing he has to military experience is shooting other generals with an anti-aircraft gun, which probably isn't the wisest way to execute people. I also think the Bin Laden quality video footage was a mistake. The executed were accused of sending false reports to their leader. Senator John McCain almost caused a war when he insulted Kim Jong-un. McCain failed to become president in 2008, but later achieved something much greater when he called Kim Jong-un a crazy fat kid. Kim Jong was offended by every part of that, so a whole diplomatic incident arose from it. First of all, the North Korean government accused him of blasphemy, which says something about Kim Jong-un's cult of personality. At the time, he had the nickname Kim Fatty III, which his regime was hilariously sensitive about. The Chinese government had to block search results for the term Kim Fatty III.